The date is December 6th, 2022. The location is the Chelsea Retirement Community at the home of Sue Crittenden. The time is 2 p.m. Today, the person being interviewed is Sue Ford Allen Crittenden. Sue was born on August 28, 1923. Sue worked at the Navy Torpedo Plant in Alexandria, Virginia during World War II. This interview will be conducted by Claire Kitchen-Dahl. This interview will be videotaped by Claire Kitchen-Dahl. Observer present was Jennifer Rykowski, Sue's daughter. This interview is being conducted on behalf of the Oral History Project at the Yankee Air Museum in Belleville, Michigan. Sue, thank you for allowing me to interview you today to share your memories of working at the U.S. Navy Torpedo Plant in Alexandria, Virginia during the war years. By preserving your story of working on the home front during World War II, our national narrative will be more complete, honest, colorful, and accurate than it is right now. Primary documentation is vital to any study of that world conflict, and the National Veterans History Project appreciates your willingness to help fill in the gaps. So please state your name, including your maiden name for us.
Sue Ford Allen Crittenden.
Okay, when were you born?
August the 28th, 1923.
And where were you born?
I was born in Warne, North Carolina.
Okay, do you still have family there?
Yes.
Cool. Names and occupations of your parents. So who was your father?
My father was Edney Ford.
And you told me he had a nickname. Or he was always...
D.E.
D.E. Do you have any idea? I guess it's the Edney. No? Anyway, he was known as D.E. All right, and where was he born and raised?
He was born in Buncombe County, near Asheville, North Carolina.
And what was his occupation?
Farmer.
A farmer. How about your mother?
My mother was Bessie Schluter.
Mm-hmm. And where was she born and raised?
She was also born in just outside of Asheville at Leicester, North Carolina.
Good. And you told me when we spoke earlier that you wished you had asked them how they had met.
Yes.
Okay. So they were was that in Clay County?
No, that was in Buncombe County.
Oh, Buncombe County. Okay.
And then they moved to Clay County.
Okay. Now, the names of your siblings, and are any of them still alive? Let's go through a whole lineup.
My oldest brother was Wayne. He was born in 1915. The next ones was twins, Ruth and Rex, and they were born in 1918. Leonard was born in 1920. Lois in 1922. And I was born in 1923.
So you are the baby.
I was the baby of 6. And one sibling is still living.
And
that's Ruth.
Okay.
And she is 104.
And you told me that when you can't remember things, you just call Ruth.
I do.
Do you too often speak?
Oh, at least once a week, sometimes more than that.
Oh, isn't that fabulous? All right, and were they all born at home in Warne, North Carolina?
Right, yes.
All right. Now, you grew up in Warne. Now, tell us about that community. What was Warne like in those years?
Warne was a farming community, and it was just we called it a wide place in the road. We had a gas station, we had a grocery store, and a post office.
Well, and that's just probably all anybody needed. And then what were the bigger cities near you?
Hayesville was the county seat, and that was 6 miles from me. And then if we went to Murphy, which was a good size, not very big, but
bigger.
But it was 14 miles from where I lived.
All right. So you had to travel to some place if you wanted anything that was not available in Warne.
That's right.
Okay. Tell us about your house. Was it big? Did it have porches? What kind of rooms or kitchen?
The house had a front porch, yes. It also had a back porch that was screened in. And we had a big kitchen because we had a big table where all 6 of us or 8 of us could sit at one time. And we had 3 bedrooms and a big dining room. I remember that.
And what about your stove?
We had a wood burning stove.
And just an ice box or anything? Or what would you have had? Because certainly no refrigerator.
We didn't even have an ice box.
Didn't have an ice box.
No.
All right, and fireplaces?
There was 2 fireplaces in the house.
And
one in the living room and one in the bedroom.
Okay.
One of the bedrooms.
And then an outhouse, no in-house water.
Outhouse. And we had a well that was on the back porch that we had to use the window
pump. All right. So anyway, what kinds of chores did you have in this house? Because I'm sure that growing up as a farm girl, you didn't just sit around.
The most that I remember, we had to help Mother with the housekeeping.
Of course.
And it was my job to get the kindling to build the fire in the fireplaces.
Mm-hmm. So you just wandered around the property and looked for it. And what kind of help with the laundry were you doing? I mean, your mom must have had a washboard.
We had washboards, and we had to scrub the clothes on the washboard, and then hang them outside to dry.
And there's a lot of laundry when you've got that many people in your house.
That's correct, yeah.
You did canning?
Lots of canning.
Like what kinds of things did you can?
We canned peaches, we canned green beans, we canned everything. I can't even remember everything that was. Tomato juice, made tomato juice, canned tomatoes, and
so almost everything you had to eat, you did at home, canning
Right.
your vegetables and your fruit and all of that. Super. You also mentioned that sometimes you had to take water to people out working in the fields.
that was my job when I was too small to work in that. I would take them water, maybe a snack in the afternoon when they were working out in the field.
Isn't that something that you can remember that? Well, but that was an important job. Little kids can do anything, can't they? Now, did you have a radio in this house?
No, my grandfather Ford was the first one to get the radio, and we used to go there on Saturday night and listen to the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? And you mentioned that it had a listening horn.
Yeah.
Oh my, did somebody need that particularly when you were listening to the radio?
I don't know, it just happened that it was on, that was the type of a phone or radio that they got back then.
Oh, that's great. How about a car? Did your family have a car?
My dad always had a car, starting with the Model T, what do you call it?
The Model T
Model T,
and a Model A.
yeah.
So he was a Ford person from the beginning, huh?
Right.
Isn't that great? Now, you also said at one point that your dad dug a Michigan cellar. What is that?
This was a place that, well, we had a Michigan cellar under the house.
Okay, now what is it?
Where I was born and raised, we had a lot of red clay. And so it was just a dirt basement.
Okay. And then, but what was your dad digging a hole at some point you talked about?
He would dig the hole out in our garden, and then he would put straw in it, and then he would put like potatoes and carrots, anything that we could keep over the winter. And then he would always mark where a certain thing was, so when we would go, we could dig in and get whatever we wanted at that time.
Was that something that was regular and traditional in your area? That you would dig these holes and mark it? And
I I don't know about that.
All right. So he had straw on the bottom, put the produce down in different places.
And then he put dirt back on the top
Okay,
of it.
just dirt, not straw on
Well,
top.
straw,
Oh,
and then-
straw and then dirt
and then
and
dirt.
little tiny flags to tell them where
To
things
tell
were.
where it was.
And so then the Michigan cellar you're talking about was just a dirt basement under the house.
That's right.
That you could keep other things in. So
Yeah.
is that where you kept all these cans?
That's right, yeah.
Good. Well, I like the idea of that hole out in the garden. It sounds very organized to me. I like organization. Now, what about schooling? What kind of schooling did you have?
I went to elementary school at Ogden. It was 3 miles from where we lived, and we always had to take the bus. And then when I graduated from there into high school, I went to Hayesville.
Okay,
And
that
that's
was about 6 miles away,
6
you
miles
said. Mhm.
in the other direction. And I graduated from high school there in 1942.
And you liked high school?
I loved high school.
Well, good for you.
I loved basketball.
Well, I think we have a picture of you in your basketball uniform. Isn't that great? Girls basketball. I love it. So you were good at that too?
Well, I was on the varsity team, and I got to play a lot. Yes.
Isn't that fabulous? All right, and then after high school, you went to Young Harris College in Georgia.
Right.
And how come you picked that school to go to?
Well, I could live at home and drive to the college.
Okay, and you only went for 2 years, you told me.
I didn't, not quite 2
Not
years.
quite, okay. Now, you were 18 years old when Pearl Harbor was attacked. Do you remember hearing about this?
Yes, very much. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and I remember I was with another boyfriend,
Another boyfriend?
high school, and with my girlfriend and her friend, and we were in the car, and we heard it on the car radio, and so I heard home so I could tell my mom and dad.
Isn't that unbelievable to hear something like that on the car radio?
Yeah.
What a shock. Now, did you have any family members join the military
I
at that
had
point?
3 brothers that was in the military, and they were in 3 different branches of the service.
Okay, so what about Wayne? What did he join?
He was in the Coast Guard.
All right, and Rex?
Rex was in the Army, and
And-
Leonard was in the Army. Back then, they had an Army Air Force.
Right.
And he was in the Army Air Force.
All right, and all 3 of them returned safely from the war?
Well, Rex was wounded twice. Once in Africa and once in Normandy.
Wow, wow. Okay, and I think you told me he left his car at home.
That's what I was driving to go back and forth to college.
So Rex was in the service and you were in his car
Right.
going to college. Unbelievable. So Rex has a Purple Heart and other service medals for being wounded.
He has 2 Purple Hearts and all the other medals. I couldn't name all of them.
You should be very proud of those 3 brothers of yours going into the service to
I
World
was
War II.
very, very proud of them.
And I'll bet your family was worried about them all the time.
Oh, sure.
Oh, good grief.
Sure.
And you said you remembered seeing banners in the windows of homes around your community.
Right. All the mothers had these banners in the window saying that they had, someone in the service.
Right. Do you ever remember seeing those banners change when it was trying to tell the people that their son or husband was wounded or dead?
I don't remember anything like
Because
that.
sometimes they changed the banners also to let people know. Well, as a side comment about the National Youth Administration, let me add this to the video. The National Youth Administration was established in 1937 by President Franklin Roosevelt during the New Deal to help teach work skills, offer employment, and education to American youth during the Depression. President Roosevelt and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt worried that the U.S. was on the verge of losing an entire generation of youth to poverty because of the condition of our economy. The NYA was a work-study program paying youth between $30 and $40 a month. And unlike the Civilian Conservation Corps, the NYA included opportunities for young women. An interesting fact is that one of the heads of the Texas division of the NYA was Lyndon B. Johnson, a future president of the United States. Now, by 1937, 400,000 youth were employed or participating in occupational training, and then these programs were put to the ultimate test with the onset of World War II in 1939. The war provided the perfect testing grounds to observe the effectiveness of the NYA in many fields related to the war economy. In 1942, the NYA was transferred to the War Manpower Commission, enabling the American youth to contribute to the war effort with the help, by the help, or to the help, for the help of the Defense Department. Now, when you were attending school in Georgia, you talked to your dad and said, "I want to quit."
Yeah.
What did he say, and why did you want to quit?
I had heard about this, and I wanted to do my part in the war, and it was a chance for me to learn these machines, and that's what I did. I talked my dad into letting me do this.
Was he hesitant to let you do it, or was he okay?
He was hesitant in the beginning, and then he and Mother agreed that I should do it.
This is wonderful to have 3 boys in the service and 1 girl right now in the NYA, leaving college. Good for you. Where did you get your training in the NYA?
The name of the place where I got my training was Newbridge, and it was just outside of, like a suburb of Asheville, North Carolina.
And where did you live, or how did you live in that?
We lived in a college dorm while we were there.
And did you have your own room, or did you have to share it with a roommate or a couple of roommates?
I shared my room with one of the other girls.
And so you had never known her before. These were just
That's
girls
right.
also who showed up at the NYA training. Now, what did you learn to do there? What did you train to do? What machines did you work on?
We worked on lathes. We worked on milling machines, on
The drill press, okay.
There's numerous ones, and
Did you ever learn to rivet?
no.
No, you're a Rosie the Riveter, but you didn't learn to rivet, but you are good on that
have to do
milling
that.
machine. All right. Now, did it take long? Did you have to go for years to do this, or just
Oh,
graduated in
no,
a few?
it was just months.
Really?
Months.
And then when you graduated, what happens? Were you assigned to a job, or did you have to go look for jobs?
They had the jobs for us when we graduated.
Wonderful. So where were you assigned?
And I was assigned to the Washington Navy Yard, but I was located in Alexandria, Virginia,
And how
at
did,
the torpedo plant.
I love it. How did you get from your training area right to Washington, D.C. or Alexandria?
By train,
And-
and it was my first train trip.
Did you like it? Was
I
it?
loved it.
Were you scared to go do this all by yourself?
No.
It was exciting,
It
and
was exciting.
1 or 2 little suitcases with you, right? I mean, you couldn't take a lot of stuff. Oh, so you were assigned at the torpedo plant. Okay, now that was in Alexandria, Virginia.
That's correct.
The Navy plant. All right, now what about living conditions in Alexandria? Where did you live then?
We lived in a private home, and it was close to the downtown part of Alexandria, and we could walk to the plant.
Now meaning there was more than you in this house?
There was 4 more girls besides me. There was 5 of us.
And had they also trained with you in
Yes.
the NYA?
Yes, and I have the picture of us when we were on the train.
Oh, I love it. And I think we have all kinds of great pictures of your life that we're putting in here. Were you able, did this woman whose home you lived in feed you or give you laundry facilities? Were you just part of a family, or did you pay rent, or have to do your laundry some other place?
She did all the cooking, and we ate there.
Okay.
But I don't remember who was paying for it.
Okay. Well, maybe maybe the NYA as part of the program, because you don't remember having to pay rent from your paycheck.
No.
Well, I think that's fabulous. Do you remember her name, this woman whose house you lived in?
No, I don't.
But you remember
She
the
was
house.
Italian, and she was a great cook.
Oh, isn't that nice? Well, we also have some pictures of the address on there, so put some of these pictures in so we can see where you lived there. Now, what did you actually do at the Navy Yard? When you left her house, you walked to down to the street or down to the Potomac, and then what was your day like? How did you start? Did you have to check in or put on an ID badge or?
Well, you had your ID badge, and you always had to have that with you at all times. And we just checked in and went to our machines. And
Okay. Now, what machine did you normally work at?
I work more on a milling machine than anything else.
And explain what that is.
Uh,
Or what did you do with your milling machine?
well, we were making torpedoes, and I worked on what we called a rudder blade.
Okay.
That was at the end of the torpedo.
Okay, and you're wearing a pin right now
I
of a
am.
small torpedo. Do you want to hold that up for the camera? We have a close-up picture too, but there's it's a charm of a torpedo. How did you get that?
Someone at the plant made those and gave them to us.
Isn't that
And I've
nice?
kept it all these years.
Good. Well, and so you're making rudders that are on the end of the torpedo that probably helps them turn or travel or something.
Yes, I can. It's these little things right here on the end of
Right on the end.
on the end.
Okay, and you mentioned something about a setup man. What was that?
Well, he would put these piece of iron in these, and they had something that they a thing that they fit into,
Okay, like a mold or something.
and so then I had to make sure that everything was okay and that it was cutting right and how long it took to cut them and everything.
And then did somebody pick it up from you, or did you take it someplace?
They would, when it was finished, it was, someone would come and get them and put another one in and start all over again.
Okay, so you basically sat at one location in front of your machine, and
Right.
somebody set it up for you, you checked it and made sure it was right, and then someone took it away from you.
That's right.
Wow. Was it hot in your factory or where you were working in the plant?
It got hot in Virginia, yeah.
Of course, all year long. How about loud? Was it loud?
With the,
Noisy? Was the whole plant noisy or
well,
anything?
some of the machines were noisy, yes.
So did you wear anything in your ears?
No.
Okay, no earplugs at all? Okay, how about, was it hard to do this?
No.
All right.
It was an easy
It
job.
was an easy job. And you, because you were a graduate of NYA, you probably didn't need special training, or did you have to go through a class to learn this particular thing?
No. They just put us to work on the machines.
Just
and that
said,
was
do it.
Yeah.
Do it, okay. Did you have to join a union?
No.
Okay. Did you make some friends or have friends working there with you?
I had the friends that I was in the NYA with, and of course we made a lot of new friends after we moved to Virginia.
Of course, of course. Well, the whole thing sounds like it's an adventure of young girls coming, living together in a home, going off to the torpedo plant, and just fun. Did your families think it was exciting, and were they supportive of all you were doing?
They were, but they were back in North Carolina, and the only way we kept in touch was by mail.
Right,
because
right.
They didn't have a telephone.
No. So you could do that. In fact, talking about that, you told me that you had a health issue while you were in Alexandria and no telephone. Tell me the story there.
Well, I had an acute attack of appendicitis, and at my age, I guess I had to have somebody to sign for me to have the operation. And my landlady signed for me, and I had my operation at Providence Hospital in Washington, D.C. And after it was all over with, I sent my parents a telegram that I was okay.
And they hadn't even heard that you were not okay.
That's
right.
right.
This just happened immediately. Oh, that's so great. What about shifts? Did you work the day shift, the night shift, or what did you?
We worked 3 different shifts. And we would, like a month on the day shift, and then we'd go to the afternoon shift, and then to the midnight shift.
Okay, so they rotated all
They
shifts.
rotated.
Was that because the plant was being run 24 hours a day, and they just needed, or were they just trying to keep you on your toes?
No, I think it's because it was 24 hours a day, and they needed to do this.
Well, now, which did you like the best? The day shift, the afternoon, or the night shift?
Well, I kind of like the day shift better.
For what reasons?
Well, I don't know. I guess because I'm a day person.
Yeah, it's just a little more logical to work the day and then be done at dinner time. But you said, excuse me, that when you weren't working during the day, you and your friends did all kinds of exciting bike riding.
We did. We would ride out to Mount Vernon, and it was such a beautiful place out there. And we just go and spend the whole day, and it was kind of fun riding the bikes back then because there was very few cars.
Yeah, so there wasn't as much stress. You could just enjoy your bike ride.
That's right.
Well, we have a picture of you and your friends sitting in front of Mount Vernon from one of your bikes, and you also enjoyed all the museums and the things to do during the day in Washington.
And yes, we would go to all the museums and botanical gardens, which were just beautiful, and to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, to the cemetery. There was a lot to do.
There is a lot to do, I agree. Now, what about, were you always on the same shift? The 5 or 4 girls of you in the house, were you always on the shift at the same time? When you
Yes.
all went from the day shift to the night shift to whatever?
Yes.
And you said that you walked to the plant on these.
Well, to the first place where we live, we walked to the plant. And then when we moved out to on Mount Ida Street, why then we could take a bus.
Okay,
There was a lot of bus trips back then because of the very few cars.
right. So the first home you lived in Alexandria wasn't the one on West Ida.
No,
You
it was
switched.
on Alfred Street.
Okay, and why did you switch houses?
I can't remember why we switched houses.
You might have wanted to then have a different kind of cook rather than that Italian woman who was taking care of you initially. But anyway, but you all moved to the new location?
Right.
All right. Now, do you remember being paid?
Yes, we got paid in cash. It was always in an envelope with our name and our number on it.
Okay.
And we were paid by the Navy, but I remember that there was Marines standing there with guns when we were being paid.
As a little bit of serious defense, and this is a serious business. Put your money in your pocket and move on, right? They were from the Quantico base?
From Quantico, yes.
All right. And did you buy any war bonds? Do you ever remember buying war bonds?
I think everybody bought war bonds back then.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had a ration card.
Yes, and I still have it.
And did you use it all?
And I didn't use all of it.
We have pictures of that right now. That will just add a little fun to this whole thing. What kinds of things did you use for your ration card?
You had to have, like, for sugar or coffee or just some of your foods that you use every day, you had to have a ration card for them.
Well, maybe that's also part of your rent agreement with these women who had the house. Maybe your ration card for you getting sugar or flour went to her so that she could feed you and, have more stuff on hand.
Probably.
Because otherwise, what were you doing with a sack of flour? Right? I mean, maybe that's what this was for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, what did you wear while you worked?
We had like pantsuits, and they were navy blue, and they were like a sailor uniform, except they didn't have the big collar on the back.
Okay.
And they didn't have the bell bottoms.
Well, you're working at the Navy plant. I guess you should look like a sailor at that point. Did you have to buy them, or did they just give them to you?
I don't remember.
All right. What about your hair? Did you have to wear a hat or a hairnet or any kind of head protection?
We wore like a cap with a net on the back of it.
Did you have long hair or short hair?
My hair was longer back then.
Okay, so you had to wear that to protect your head at that point. And now tell me about your husband, Charles Allen. He wasn't someone you first met there. When did you meet him, or how, and what's going on with him?
I had known him, at least 3 years.
Okay.
And I met him at Swananoa. I told you how to spell the name.
Well, tell all of us. You met him in Swananoa or something. Spell that.
It's just east of Asheville.
Can you spell it for us?
Pardon?
Spell it for us.
Swananoa, Swananoa.
Okay. Now tell me about meeting him then. How did you meet him there?
I met him through my brother-in-law,
Okay.
who they were best friends.
Did you fall in love immediately?
And when I went to visit with my sister, why, that's when I met him.
Okay. And you guys wrote letters at that point to each other?
Yes,
Because where was he stationed was he in the Navy?
he was in the Navy.
Okay, where was he stationed?
And well, when I first met him, he wasn't in the Navy.
Okay.
But when he went in the Navy, he was stationed at one time at Miami Beach. He was stationed in Southport, in North Carolina, different places. But his final place was in California, and then he spent most of the time in the South
And
Pacific.
what do you remember the name of his ship?
The Manderson Victory.
It was a Victory ship, so it was the I have the paperwork so we can see exactly where he was. So he did his Army service really in the
Navy.
in the Navy in the South Pacific.
Most of the time was from California to the South Pacific.
All right.
And he was in a lot of the islands when they were invaded, but he was way back in the back because he was on an ammunition ship.
Okay, good. Now then he was sent to Washington D.C. For what purpose?
For more schooling, more instructions, more schooling.
All right. And on one of those weekends when he was sent in, what happened?
Well, we decided to get married. And 2 days after we got married, he got sent back to California and then back to the South Pacific. And he was there until the war was over. Japan surrendered, and that was 13 months later, after we got married. The war was over and he come home.
Well, tell me a little more about this wedding. Do you think it was an elopement, or was it really
No,
just a small wedding?
It was just a small wedding.
Where and what and who?
In the house where we were living. And we had a Baptist minister, and I even remember his name.
Well, what was his name?
Gully.
Gully.
G-U-L-L-Y.
Reverend Gully? All right.
Reverend Gully.
Now, what did Charles wear during this ceremony?
He had his uniform,
And what did you wear?
and I wore just a suit.
Just a suit, a dress, a skirt, and a jacket.
Right.
Okay, do you remember what color?
It was green.
Good for you. Look at that. And anybody else there besides Reverend Gully and the two of you?
Well, all of my girlfriends were there, and then Charles's sister and I had an aunt that was there, and they were both working in Arlington, Virginia at that time.
What were they doing?
And
War jobs?
They worked in a something that was called postal accounts, and I don't know exactly what that was about.
Something probably with mail. Okay, do you remember what was the date that you were married?
On October the 17th,
1944.
1944.
Did you have, excuse me, did you have any kind of a social life during the war? I mean, did you do anything other than bike riding and going to museums? Did you go bowling or do anything like that?
We went to a lot of restaurants,
Oh, good. All right. Did you go to movies?
movies, and yeah, we had a social life.
All right, so the girls all had fun. When you weren't working, you did things at that point. And you said you took lots of buses and transfer points. You got to know the bus system pretty well in DC, in
Yeah.
Alexandria.
Yeah, you had to take a bus if you wanted to go into Washington D.C. Well, you had to take a bus to the Pentagon building and change, and even to go to Arlington, Virginia, you had to change buses at the Pentagon.
It's kind of exciting to have to transfer and know the system and know how to get there. It's another way of feeling independent, isn't it? You're not living at home anymore. You're living with a bunch of girls and you're doing war work, and then you're getting on the bus and just kind of taking charge of your life. It's a powerful time of your life. Now, what about, now you quit working at the Navy Yard, you said, when the war ended in 1945, and Charles came home, right? And then you guys bought a house?
Well, we had a house built
Oh,
in North Carolina, and we lived there, and he worked at the Beacon Manufacturing Company, and I worked at J.C. Penney's in Asheville. And then in 1950, we decided to move to Michigan, and we've been here ever since. I have.
well, when you were living in North Carolina, you had children, right?
I had two sons.
Okay, what were their names and when were they born?
Gary was the oldest, and he was born in September of '46. And my baby, Carol, was born April the 12th, 1948.
Okay, so two children in North Carolina with a house you had built. Did you use any funding from the GI Bill? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Okay, so then he was working for Beacon, and then you came to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you lived in Michigan, where did you live? Did you get housing?
When we first come to Michigan, we rented apartments, and then we moved out to Willow Run.
And Willow Run, the housing out there had originally been for workers at the Willow Run B-24 bomber plant.
Right.
But because you were a veterans family, you know, Charles was a veteran, returning veteran, you were able to get housing out there. Now tell us about what you remember about Willow Run Village or your housing out there.
We had a two-bedroom apartment. It had a wood-burning stove in it, and it had just a ice box for
Refrigeration.
refrigeration.
Yeah.
But we didn't live there too long until we got a electric stove and a refrigerator.
Well, that's some reason to move out of Willow Run. Even I would have done that at that particular point. And your kids went to school in Willow Run, or at least Gary did?
Gary did,
Okay.
and Carol wasn't old enough.
All right.
And then when we moved into Ypsilanti, we bought a house in Ypsilanti on Midvale. I'll never forget that.
On Midvale, okay.
And that's where we were living. I can't remember exactly what year we bought the house, but we were living there when Charles passed away.
All right, and when did he die? He died in 1962, you told me.
1962.
Okay.
Um,
And you stayed in that house until you remarried?
no, I lived on there for several years, and then I decided I was going to go back to North Carolina. And I went back to North Carolina, and I lived there 9 months. And I moved back to Ypsilanti. I wasn't happy living back in North Carolina.
Well, you know, Ypsi is the hot spot around here. It is the hot center of this southeast Michigan area. So good for you coming back to Ypsi. Now, you married Bernard Crittenden in 1973.
I did.
And where did you meet him?
I met him through my daughter-in-law.
Okay.
They were sitting by each other at a ball game in Jackson, Michigan.
Oh boy.
And she asked him, how come you come to all of the ball games and the girl's mother doesn't come? Because she knew both Jenny and Cheryl.
Okay.
And he said that their mother was deceased and that he had remarried and he was in the process of getting a divorce and he was looking for a woman.
Whoa!
She said, my mother-in-law. And she gave him my name and where I worked at the Ford dealership and my phone number. So he come a couple of weeks later, he come looking for me.
Oh, good grief. See, Ford all the way through. Your father had Ford cars. Here you are in Ypsi working at Ford. You had lived in the Ford Willow Run bomber plant. I think this is fabulous. So the two of you got together through family networking is
Right.
what it is. Okay. And you were married for how long?
We dated for a year before we got married.
Okay.
And we were married almost 45 years. It was 44, almost 45 years.
Well, good for you. And we have a picture of your extended family now with children and grandchildren. And what do you have all together now? How many? You've got, you've got a whole calendar over here on your wall of all these people. You must have about, I don't know. Do you know how many grandchildren or great-grandchildren? Or
I had 10 grandchildren to begin with. And now I have, I said 7, but I actually have 8
Okay.
great-grandchildren.
8 grandchildren. See?
I
Look at,
left one of them out.
look at this, how your whole family has expanded. That's wonderful. Now, you mentioned that Bernard had been, or did you call him Bernard? Bernie?
We called him Bernard.
Bernard. Okay, so Bernard had been in the Navy during World War II. And you mentioned that his father had worked at Willow Run, the bomber plant.
His father, her mother, his first wife.
She had sewed
And his mother.
All right, so you said that his father was a guard at Willow Run. His mother sewed parachutes at Willow Run. And his first wife was a telephone operator at Willow Run. And he even worked at Willow Run for a while. You've got a real connection to all of that. Now, the father had mentioned seeing Charles Lindbergh, you told me.
Yes.
Isn't that something? All right, how did you find out that you were a Rosie the Riveter if you never learned to rivet?
Well, this lady from Ann Arbor come to the Chelsea Retirement Center and put on what I want to call it, a display.
A program.
A program. And she asked if there was anybody there that had worked at a different place during the war. And I held up my hand.
And I was the lady doing that program, so that's when we met. And I loved the fact that, while I was doing a presentation on Rosie and Willow Run and the power of this whole generation, there you were in the audience. Now your whole family knows that you're a Rosie now? Have you spread the word?
I haven't talked to my family in North Carolina, but everybody here knows it.
Okay, that's good. All right, now, and I think there's a very interesting connection between you and your family, because I had your granddaughter, Sarah, at Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor, so isn't this fun? And Sarah is in the military,
Yeah, she's in the Army Jags.
okay? And what is so important about there? What's really an interesting story about her in terms of her? She has a Purple Heart.
She was in Iraq, and she was wounded. She was riding in a Humvee there was 5 of them, and 3 of them were killed instantly. Just she and the driver survived it. And she has a Purple Heart. She stayed there, and how do I want to put this?
She had to recover over there. Yeah.
Yeah. And but being in the Army Jag, she is an attorney.
Great.
So
You should be very proud of her. and
I
her
am.
service. Well, and you know what? She's going to be proud of you, knowing that you are Rosie the Riveter from World War II. The whole thing makes full circle all the way around. Well, is there anything else you want to share about those years of living in Alexandria or working at the NYA or training at the NYA or living or during those war years? Anything else you want to add that I didn't ask?
I don't think so. I think that about covers it.
We covered the bases, huh?
Covered the
All right.
bases.
Well, Sue, thank you for sharing your interesting story with us. Thank you for giving your strength and patriotic energy to America in the 1940s and for doing your part to help win that war. You have made a difference in this world, and you are, as the U.S. government has now acknowledged, a distinguished veteran of the home front. You are truly a heroine, and you should be justifiably proud of your personal legacy. As a group, the Rosies have been awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, the highest civilian award granted. The tribute Rosies from the Yankee Air Museum on the grounds of the historic Willow Run B-24 bomber plant are honored to preserve your inspiring story and share it with libraries, museums, and researchers around our country. The famous war poster highlighted a strong and determined woman saying, "We can do it." And Rosie Sue Crittenden, you did it. Thank you from a grateful nation.
Thank you.